Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Theory. We are back with another episode. I am your host, Devkumar Sachin. I have my co-host, Bharat Ramesh. In our last episode, we learned a lot about the importance of personal development in the career and business. Today, we are bringing in another impactful guest, Ananda Soundararajan. He'll be joining us shortly, and we will be bringing a lot of quality, and we will be spending a lot of valuable time talking about how you can elevate your career with the help of the personal development.
Hey, hello, Sai. Thank you so much. And yeah, what an episode last week. Time flew just like that. If you haven't checked out, please do. There were a lot of value nuggets and so much fun during the whole conversation. And yes, we are excited to bring another impactful guest, Anand Soundararajan. So let's get into the show right away.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat. With that, hello, and how are you doing today? We are
Doing
super excited to
fantastic.
have you on the Career Theory.
Me too. I have been looking forward to do this for more than a week, so I'm ready.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Thank you so much for joining. Before we start, for our audience, could you navigate your journey for our audience?
Sure. So good morning, everyone. My name is Ananda Soundararajan. I have a unique name. I have the long last name. Also, my first name. Sometimes people call me Amanda. It's actually Ananda. So that's where my journey starts. I have a unique name, and I thank my dad. I come from a southern part of India. It's a village. I'm the first engineer from my village. So I'm proud of my
Awesome.
parents and also myself. So that's where my journey started. And when I grew up, it was all farming and learning things in Tamil, which is my local language. And things were different when I went to college. It's a city and English, lot of difference. Basically, comfort zone to a
Mhm.
non-comfort zone. So that's where my journey started in a right way, I would say.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Right.
Now, when you started your journey, could you brief us about how you used this personal development as a tool? Even though we understand that you started from one part of the map, you are in another part of the map. How did your journey looks like?
Sure, sure. So if I go back to those college days, campus placements, companies were coming in. So given the Tamil medium and all of that, it was hard for me to approach those interviews and group discussions.
Mhm.
And I would say this kind of development, the personal development started right in my hostel, where reading English newspapers and having those group discussions, what they were doing, and I wanted to catch up with them. So that's where the seed started. And I still remember my first time in group discussion where the topic was, do we need electricity or not? So people, they were all talking, yes, we need it for development and all of that. I just wanted to be unique and I went against it. Why the hell? You know, you know,
Wonderful.
yeah. And like with technology is good, but then coming from village background and all of that, and there was a peaceful life before technology as well, and less disease and all of that. But yes, I'm not against technology. I took COVID shot and all of that, and I'm for science, I'm for technology, and I'm into technology field. It's all good, but just for the group discussions, I went against it and talked about it. So that's where I would say like the seed for personal development started. Then I got into a good company in India, TCS, and started my career and on
Mhm.
site, all
Mhm.
of that. So at a point, I was thinking, okay, I became an engineer and working at a good company, and what is next? And it's
Mhm.
been, 15 years. And yes, it has been very, good. It was a good run along the way. But what is next? I was at a point where, yes, I was a good solution architect,
Mhm.
designing things and developing software and all of that. So if I have to go to next level, I have to focus on a few things
Mhm.
like communication
Mhm.
and all of that. And then one of my friend mentioned about Toastmasters,
Mhm.
and I didn't know what it is, and I just went in. It was back in 2018. When I went in, I was scared to even to say hi.
Mhm.
Right, it was too intimidating also. But
Mhm.
people were nice. That was back in Michigan, and that's where I would say the next episode started for my personal development, where I listened to a speech, the titled "Miracle Morning,"
Mhm.
and there they talked about the importance of reading regularly, exercising, writing, and visualizing, all those good stuff.
Mhm.
So that was a seed that I put in my mind, and started reading books, things like
Mhm.
Compound Effect and Rich Dad Poor Dad, and all of that.
Mhm.
So it was all just myself reading books and all of that. And also, I used to subscribe for Darren Hardy. He is a coach,
Mhm.
a success coach, and all of that. And I used to like those daily motivation emails and all of that.
Uh-huh.
And along this way, we moved from Michigan to Chicago for my wife's employment.
Mhm.
All of that was all fine. But then one of my friend Venkat mentioned about a coach, having a
Mhm.
coach board, and
Mhm.
so I was like, okay.
Mhm.
And the thing is, when you look for something
Mhm.
and you'll be able to focus on, like, this is like this, right? If you are planning to buy a Prius
Mhm.
Toyota car, and when you drive along the road,
Mhm.
you'll be looking only those type of cars,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And
Uh-huh.
the same way, so I was reading good books around this personal development and all of that. Then my friend mentioned about a coach and to take it to the next level. So then it became serious, and I worked with my coach. And 10 years back, if you ask me,
Mhm.
I should not say 10 years, let me say 5 years back,
Mhm.
it was just work in my
Mhm.
life, just work.
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
Sometimes
Mhm.
I was a workaholic, right? And I had a young family. My daughter Amita, back
Uh-huh.
then she was born in 2014, and I was so busy with work, right?
Mhm.
And head down,
Mhm.
deployments, DevOps, cloud, and all of that.
Mhm.
I never focused on my health. My life was not balanced. I will put it that way,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And during those reflections, that's what I found out. My
Mhm.
priorities were not set right.
Mhm.
The moment I got into this personal development and all of that, and I got the clarity, what is
Wow.
important?
Wow.
What do
Mm.
I want? And the moment I started asking those powerful questions,
Mhm.
I mean, do I have answers to all those questions?
Mhm.
Absolutely no. I'm slowly getting there.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that's where my personal development started, and I how it helped means, yes, I getting to know what I want and putting my goals in place.
Mhm.
My life is becoming balanced,
Mhm.
able to focus on the right priorities.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So to summarize, with the help of the personal development, you are able to see more clarity and you're able to set the direction that you wanted to go instead of following the plan or the path that somebody else set the direction for. Is that is how we can summarize with the help of the personal development?
Absolutely, absolutely. You nailed it. So if I can put it in a different way, you can go or take the default route along
Mm-hmm.
the way,
Mm-hmm.
or you can design your future, design your path.
Yep.
Yep.
I had a question, Anand, a follow-up basically. And I know you mentioned a lot about different kinds of techniques to elevate your career.
Sure.
What is one thing that you would suggest which has played a vital role in building your career, life, and all the areas?
Sure. So this is a great question. Thank you, Bharat. I talked about the journey. What changed in the last 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Precisely
Hmm.
last 3 years.
Hmm.
I used to be a couch potato, Netflix series, and we can have fun with friends there and all of that. And along the way, I noticed my health was not in the right state.
Mm.
I see. I
Yeah, the
see.
moment I found the right priorities, health is the number one priority for anyone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom, my dad, they always said when I was a kid, college, all of that, like when I was a bachelor, eat well, take care of your health. But then I never understood the meaning of it.
Got
They
it.
tell me every single time when I speak to them, right? Then I never understood the real meaning of it.
Mm.
So the transformation started, or else like the trigger started, I would say, when I enrolled for a 5K in 2019 at my daughter's school for a
Mm.
charity run.
Mm.
So it was October, good Saturday morning. We went in and started running.
Mm.
I would say I was so excited. I was trying to run fast.
Yeah.
That's it. Let me walk. But then on the other side, I see like 3 year, like 4-year-old or 60-year-old, 70-year-old, they're running.
Wow.
And I'm like, what's happening? So yes, I mean, I was able to walk and finish it.
Mhm.
On the way
Mm.
back in the car, I was reflecting what's happening. This is not something I want, and this is not the state I want to be. So
Absolutely.
that was one thing, and also the physical checks, annual checks when you go for your doctor, and he was like, "Hey, buddy, 36-year-old young man, all good, but then you're almost close to the pre-diabetic state.
Wow.
Okay, you got to watch out."
Mm.
I'm like, okay, so that's a second warning.
Mm.
Then it became even more serious when I got a call from my dad
Mhm.
having health issues, hospitalized, surgery, all of that.
Mhm.
So he's my hero, my dad,
Mhm.
for anyone, background, and he went above and beyond to put me right here to speak to
Mhm.
you guys right now.
Mhm.
I was thinking what happened, like why he didn't take care of his health. But yeah, there are too much stress along the way, financial stress and a lot of things. And but he never showed that to us. But then
Mhm.
he was handling everything and he got into diabetic and all of that.
Mhm.
So that's when I thought it's time for me to really do the right thing.
Mhm.
And started running.
Mm.
So also along the way with this personal development and all of that, you have to design your path. You have to have a goal.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I can say I can run them in 2 or 3 days in a week, right? You
Mhm.
might do it for a week or two.
Mhm.
But then how can you be serious? And I have a strong why now. And so it's like I'm boiling inside, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and okay, running. I love walking as a person and thought about marathon. That
Mhm.
was a dream, right? I used to envy when people were running marathon. It was, oh, can I, somebody who can't even run, I mean, half a mile marathon. Oh my God,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But then I wanted to challenge myself. I love challenges.
Mhm.
And I live in Chicago. I thought,
Mhm.
okay, so when is the next marathon? So I'm in October. And so this journey, I'm in October, November, then the New Year, December 31st, right? And you know what?
Mhm.
That was 2019, 31st, right? And
Mhm.
2020, I'm running a marathon. I
Mhm.
didn't know when, where, and all of that. Right? Maybe Chicago. Let's pick Chicago.
Wow.
And I
Mhm.
didn't know much about them and getting into the lottery and all of that. So I just had that goal. I was telling my friends when that New Year Eve. And then January first week, I was trying to enroll. They
Mhm.
said, "Buddy, you are too late." Then I'm like, "Okay, but I have to run. I'm
Mhm.
sorry."
Mhm.
Then how can I run? That was my question. What I have
Mm.
to run Chicago this year? Then they
Mm.
told me you have to fundraise. You can do it through charity. Then I picked Red Cross, and fundraising was very unique experience.
Mm.
There are friends I never talked to
Mhm.
the last time in five years, and I had to reach out to them and tell them, "Hey, I'm
Mhm.
running, and please support me." They were very nice.
Mhm.
I'm grateful to every one of. I remember Bharat, Sai, and you also contributed. A lot of my friends in LinkedIn and at work. Thank every
Absolutely.
one of them. And
Absolutely.
I got my ticket for Chicago, and then the
Mhm.
COVID,
Mhm.
the race was.
Wow.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so what? I mean, I'm not going to give up. I still continued with my training, and then I ran just myself. And the
Absolutely.
place where I live, there is a trail,
Mhm.
beautiful trail, DPR
Mhm.
trail, Des Plaines River Trail, and that's where I used to go run. And I ran just myself.
Mhm. Sounds good. So to summarize, when you started, you have these all these flags or the lights that are turning on as part of your health, which you did not choose to ignore it. You choose to consider them as each of those flags, whether it is a report from a doctor or it could be your kids 5K running at the school. You took them seriously and you started re-questioning yourself with these powerful questions. I might be making money, but what if I don't have this physical body which is strong and healthy to really take my whole family to the next level? That's when you started turning into a marathon runner, and you used your running as a tool to have
Right.
a stronger body, stronger mind,
Right.
and that helped you to propel in all other areas of your personal development.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I might have got all these warnings even in past, which I ignored every single one of those warnings.
Mhm.
Right. The moment you set your priorities right,
Mhm.
and same the price car, right? If you're looking for it, then you're going to see price cars along the road. The
Absolutely.
same way,
Mhm.
health was my priority, and these warnings and the friends around me
Mhm.
and able to push me and do all of this.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it is more like how you have that right mindset, because you're able to conquer a lot of half marathons and marathons. You go through a lot of strenuous thought process, and
Right.
it actually changes you to become more strong in all the areas of your life.
Right.
For anyone listening, it's about building that strength within. That's
Mhm.
what Anand is all about. He has run several half marathons and marathons in just 1 year. There is no
Sometimes,
count. And
sometimes he just runs one half marathon every weekend.
yes, and even when it's snowing. So that's really powerful. And just I wanted to reiterate for our audience to think in that manner so that they can also become strong and conquer whatever it is that they are working towards. Awesome. Really good job. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great way to summarize.
Thank you. With that, let me ask one question which you touched upon earlier when you're talking about how you used your college times as a way to propel your career by getting into group discussions and all of that. And then when you came to Chicago, you talked about a coach that you worked with who helped you to show the potential that you did not thought about in the past.
Right.
Now, having came from a background of a traditional education versus coaching, what do you see the difference between coaching versus having a teacher? From your experience, how do you differentiate a coach versus a teacher?
Good. Great question. And never thought about it. A teacher versus coach. You're right. In school, we
Mhm.
had teachers. In college, also, we had teachers. And the moment you start working,
Mhm.
you do have your parents
Mhm.
to guide you. But then, most of the times, once you get married and all of that, they're not going to live with you.
Mhm.
They're away. And you're on your own.
Mhm.
You have to make decisions on your own and plan your things. You have a family, etc. Said the mindset.
Mhm.
So that's where I felt the coach was able to help me to have the right mindset and to have a plan, which I don't think maybe I might have had roughly, right? I mean, draft here and the right vague, abstract, and the same thing. I mean, clarity and what do I really want, and those tough questions, and he made me to answer and put those in the notes, and so get your path. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. So if there is anything that you do from being ordinary to extraordinary every day in, day out, what is your daily routine like? Just to understand how are you building that mental mindset, which is really strong for everyone around you.
sure, great question. Routine. That's a great. Never had a routine, and the moment I listened to that miracle morning, and there was a morning routine: reading, writing, and etc. So now, so health became the priority. Yes, this running is helping me with my physical fitness and all of that. And what is next? Also the mind. That's when I started meditating.
Mhm.
I use an app called Headspace. One of my friend Srinivas recommended it, and it's a great app to
Mhm.
get
Awesome.
started. Yep, you can also take it to next level, inner engineering and all of that with Sadhguru, etc.
Mhm.
But yeah, how much ever I mean, physical fitness is important, even the mental fitness is important.
Mhm.
I go back to that mindset term which Bharat mentioned it, right? Especially when we run,
Mhm.
maybe we can run one weekend, but if you have to run every single Saturday or every single Sunday,
Yeah.
so that's when you have to be in the right mindset, and this meditation and all of that would help you to get going.
Mhm.
Awesome. Awesome. Love
Awesome.
it, actually, really, Anand, because a lot of times we tend to ignore our mental health
Right.
and focus on physical health. And we don't realize that we get lost in the world where you're mentally very weak. You look really strong outside, but internally you become really weak and unable to conquer anything because of that mental abilities we are talking about. Really powerful. Thanks for sharing that.
Excellent. And yeah, I think the question was about routine, right? And yes, exercise, meditation is good, and also reading
Mhm.
every day, even if it is 5 minutes, and that's much powerful. Reading good contents, things like Compound Effect, Miracle Morning,
Mhm.
the one thing, great
Mhm.
content. So I would highly recommend people to read every single day.
Mhm.
We have to be continuous learner.
Mhm.
So keep learning. So
Now, on the follow-up question on the same thing about reading, I understand that physical health can be improved by doing the physical activities. Now,
right.
now you're talking about expanding or making your mind or your internal components to be
Exactly.
stronger, and you are using reading as a tool to expand your mind also with the help of the knowledge and everything else. But
Yep.
let me ask you this: we have a lot of books, we have like zillions of books.
Mhm.
What is it that someone should do as soon as they read the book? What is it that they should do? How should they use the knowledge that they learned from the book for their career development?
Excellent. That's a great question. So reading is much powerful. Whatever we have in the book, author, they have put in so much of research and effort to put it in those 100 to 200 pages to make it simple for us. And yes, I highly recommend people to read to develop the mental strength, and it expands your mindset also. And those are all good stuff. But then while reading, yes, you can understand, take notes, and all of that. How can you take it to the next level? That's more important because there is a lot of information around that. YouTube, podcast, like everywhere. And Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, like you could get good content. I'm happy with this technology transformation and all of that. Those are, I mean, free content which is available in YouTube, like around you. And so it is very important. For example, if I'm reading a book, this is what I do. At least at the end of the book, I will make sure to take one action at least. So that's where my morning routine started. I mean, when I was reading that Miracle Morning, there
Mhm.
were things about being silent, affirmation, writing, reading, exercise, and all of that. And I was not able to get going with everything. I started with exercise, I started with running,
Mhm.
then meditation, then
Mhm.
reading, then journaling, like
Mhm.
that, right? And slowly you will get there. But at least take one simple action.
Mhm.
Information is good, but then if you don't take action,
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
good.
yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times people think that reading is really boring, monotonous, a
right?
lot of information that is not needed. But I've heard this from someone and it made so much sense that why reading is important. There are people who have a lot of experience and conquered a lot of things in their life. And if you read the book, you're able to solve those problems when you face them.
Mhm.
And this is the kind of mindset, once you shift that, reading becomes more powerful tool for you to
Right.
resolve anything that you're going through in your life.
Absolutely.
And I have one more question, because I know you are a lot into reading.
Mhm.
What is that one book that changed your perception or made you feel that this is something, if I read again and again, I'll get back to my life normal?
Wow, that's a powerful question. But I have a lot of good books. But then, yeah, Miracle Morning is something I started. And but then one book, if you ask me to read, and any given day, even if I become, I mean, 80 and all of that, right? And that would be Atomic Habits.
Mm.
Wow.
James Clear. He
Mhm.
comes from Ohio, Cincinnati, and I used to live as well. It's a great book. I didn't know that until, I mean, a couple of years back. And it's all about habits in
Mhm.
life, right? I mean, you can, that's what even you can, I mean, take your game to one direction versus the other direction, positive versus negative, right? And those small habits, drinking water, doing stretches before run, after run, small things, that's going to elevate your life to 10x,
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
sometimes even 100x if you do it
Mm.
over the period,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for the advice. And yeah, the Atomic Habits is really powerful book. Everyone should get to read it at least once and they'll fall in love with it eventually. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Now, with that, let me ask you a question about your running, Anand.
Mm.
This question is more from the perspective of, you touched upon a point that you wanted to become a runner, not become a couch potato, and you choose running as a tool to grow your stronger body.
Right.
During this running, and to be a runner forever, do you rely on your network to become a runner for your motivation? Because running in Chicago, I can absolutely understand with the snow and everything, the cold weather. It
Right.
is not like and like in Florida, it's not like in any hotter places where you get excited to wake up in the morning to run. This is like really cold. Now, how do you
Right.
keep yourself? Is there a network group that you use as a reference point?
Good. Yeah. So people can get started in the beginning, right, by reading a book or listening,
Mhm,
all of that, right? But then how can you keep it moving?
mhm.
How can you keep it moving years and years? And yeah, you have to be in the right, circle. Yes, I am in the right circle, and I have friends who run half marathons every Sunday. It's like
Wow.
going to
Mhm.
church. We run half marathons. That's what we do, right?
Wow.
And yeah, and I have friends, who can challenge me every single week.
Mm.
So for me personally, that's more important uh, for me to level up my game. So
Sounds
yes,
good.
I have a great, growth circle with me. They
And
challenge me. Mm.
And I have one question I know related to running, because it gets challenging after so miles. Let's say you started running, and initially you would go 3 miles, then 5 miles, then 10 miles, eventually 13 miles. What is it that you feel during that whole run that you're like, you could have given up, but you still stick to finish the run? What are the things that are going in your mind, just to understand, tap into your mind and see how we can also do that when we are running? And even if anyone in the audience would choose to run tomorrow, they want to become like Anand, how would they want to do it?
Sure. Yeah. Running is good, and planning for a marathon, good amount of time investment as well. Yes, I'm going to be fit. The benefits are powerful,
Mhm.
but then yeah, we have to be mentally strong, and also the time. Importantly, being a dad, working in a full-time job, in a leadership role, and all of that, and finding time gets challenging for anyone,
Mhm.
especially when we have those long runs, which goes,
Mhm.
2 to 3 hours, sometimes
Yes.
even 4 hours.
Yes.
So how can we make it productive? Those are
Mhm.
good minutes, and you're in a peak state, right? Thought process. I use that to visualize things. Yeah, that's one thing, and use those minutes to practice my Toastmaster speeches on Saturday.
Wow. You are
Right.
using your running as a tool to practice your Toastmaster speeches as well?
Here and there, yeah, I do that.
Wow.
Or sometimes I listen to courses. For
Mhm.
example, in 20, I believe, when I started running, and I was listening to Azure. Started, casually, but then because I run, every single Saturday, right? Back then,
Mhm.
and now I do it on Sunday. Those 2 to 3 hours, I was just listening. At least not those 3 hours, but at least 1 hour out of that session, and
Mhm.
that was able to help me to become, Azure certified solution architect at the professional level. Two
Mhm.
certificates, right? And I did that just by listening through those runs, and then come back once
That's
a week, do some hands-on, and write that. So you can be
that's
productive as
powerful.
well.
That
Yeah.
is powerful.
Yep.
To summarize for the audience, you are using running as a tool to make your body fit, and also you are using the same time
Hmm.
to address any of your certifications or any of your education qualifications, along with expanding mind. And you are also helping your career grow while you're running. You're listening to those audio
Right.
content so that they'll
Correct.
go straight into your mind, which will help you to finish your certifications, which is a
Correct.
byproduct, or
Right.
which you can call it as a bonus
Bonus.
from the running, which helps your career development as well. That is powerful tip if someone in the audience wanted to take it.
Yeah.
When you're running, listen to some of the educational material that you wanted to use for your career development, along with the music.
Yeah. Yeah. Along with the music, right? Yeah.
And
So and that, if I can add 30 more seconds, right?
yes.
So I mentioned about music, and I love music, and if I ever feel tired or if I ever feel couldn't run, then I just play some music and just keep going, right? And
Nice.
that helps as well.
I definitely wanted to add when Sai said, listen to important career development resources. Why don't you listen to Career Theory, our podcast, and
Yeah,
achieve the same? Just adding that there.
that's
So,
good. That's good.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
awesome,
gonna
awesome.
listen to this I'll be listening to. Uh,
Thank you.
so I can relate it with listening to.
Now, Bharat, do you have any questions?
Yes, I had one related to
Mhm.
your Toastmasters journey. I know
Yes.
you've mentioned it a lot during our previous calls. I've met you so many times in person. And tell us more about what Toastmasters is and how is that helping you with your career and your life as well.
Excellent. Great question, as always. Yes, running, these are all good. We are at career theory. Let's talk about career as well, right?
Mhm.
I have been developing software for more than 15 years, 15 to 16 years.
Mm.
It's all good. I love coding, and I come from Java background and DevOps, AWS, cloud migration. I have done all of that, and APIs,
Mhm.
API gateways, and all of that. Those are all really powerful. But then the health, when I was reflecting about my career, I noticed there is one important skill which is missing,
Mm.
which is my communication.
Wow. Mhm.
When I am an individual contributor, it didn't surface much. The
Mm.
moment I started leading team and also like giving status to leadership,
Mhm.
all of that, and if I have to present something, I was like very nervous.
Mm.
And there are times where I screwed as well, like go to the call and it's like throwing up. Those moments, I still have those here and there, but that's when the communication I have to fix it, like my
Mm.
health.
Mm.
Mm,
And those warnings, yes, I took it serious.
Mhm.
And it is a skill.
Mhm.
You can't get it by reading a book or just listening to a podcast. And this is something you have to expose yourself,
Mhm.
practice it day in, day out.
Mhm.
And how can you do it? Yes, I can do it in front of my camera or
Mhm.
mirror,
Mhm.
but then I need feedback, quality feedback. I
Mm.
need someone to challenge me. So that's when this Toastmaster thing came into picture. And in the beginning, when I attended in Michigan, I was there for about 3 months, and we got our second kid and got busy and got carried away.
Mhm.
Then lately, given the books I'm reading, the goals and all of that, and if I have to really elevate my career to take it to the next level, yes, I'm good at, doing those technical certifications. I have done, every single Java certifications, web component, like, all of that,
Mhm.
plus AWS.
Mhm.
So these are all good.
Mhm.
But then if I really have to um, grow into leadership roles and become a good leader,
Mhm.
this is something I have to be good at it. Number one skill
Mm.
of a great leader. That's what I
Mm.
noticed along the way.
Mhm.
So this Toastmaster is a very safe place for you to go,
Mhm.
expose your fear,
Mhm.
and practice, and to conquer it.
Okay.
And here I would like to mention about my club, which is Lake County Toastmasters, which
Mhm.
is in Chicago. The
Mhm.
best club, the best people around.
awesome,
I
awesome.
Awesome.
would recommend you guys to check it out. And we have champion speakers and marathon runners and gang.
Okay.
Can someone join online if they want to, or how does that work? Is it online available or just in person Toastmasters?
Good. Thanks to COVID. Before COVID, it was all in person, and I don't think anybody would have thought about this online Zoom meetings and all of that. So yes, from COVID, we started, meeting virtually through Zoom. Yes,
Mm.
anybody anywhere in the world can hop in to a Zoom call,
Mhm.
Yes.
and we also have hybrid setup where local people can come in Zoom.
Mhm.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah,
Awesome.
I just
Awesome.
wanted to add it because for our audience, if they want to join you in your county, We will put the link in the description so that they can use that and register and join Anand on his Toastmaster journey, as well as, like he said, it's a very safe place for you to become really better. And we will put that link in the description. Thank you so much for sharing, Anand.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Before we jump onto the rapid fire section, I wanted to touch base on your communication journey for the help, which would help our audience as well.
Sure.
Whoever is working in their careers, thinking that someday there will be an opportunity coming through, but you used communication as a tool to grow in your career, which you believed that it's going to help everybody else to clarify your message as well. Now, the question is more about, do you think Toastmasters, you use Toastmasters as a place to grow your communication skills, or do you think it is a proximity of proximity of people where you can network with people and you can learn from each other?
Wow, powerful. Initially, when I started, I thought maybe it's a place where I can go and improve my communication, those fears and all of that. But even though I joined in Michigan, if you see, I did not continue there. It was about 3 months. I can say, yes, I got busy and all of that. Even here, I'm busy, but I still go there. You have to be in the right club and part of the right group of people. And I'm not saying, it was in good club or something. It was good club. That's where I started reading books, and I thank and I'm grateful to club by which I attended in Michigan. But the difference here with Lake County is every time when I go to the meeting, whether I'm giving speech or listening, I listen to great contents. Oh my God, Eric Weinendegan, he is one of our world champion speaker, and the amount of wisdom he throws in that 5 to 7 minutes speech, right? It's mind blowing, which is like reading him in 3 books. And then I have people who are like been Toastmasters for more than 20 years. And funny fact, my mentor in Lake County Toastmaster, Mr. Mark Levin, and he has been a Toastmaster for close to 30. More than that, even his dad was a Toastmaster.
Wow.
I'm in the right place, and it is serious. And why would anyone to send their kid to Toastmaster and all of that? So with that, even my daughter Anvita has attended in Toastmaster meetings, right?
Wow.
And especially command class one day as part of my area director club visit, and we went to a club. I didn't have time to drop her at home, so we just went, right? And she came and she saw that meeting. And next time, every Wednesday when we come from Kuman, and she'll be asking, can we go to that library again, to that meeting? Right? And so that changes people's life. And because the kind of impact it creates when you're in the right proximity is mind-blowing.
Okay.
And yes, I'm very grateful to the people who did help me at Lake County Toastmasters. I'm very grateful to them.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anand. And mentioned we do something which is rapid fire.
Sure.
We do ask 3 questions. You can either answer it in 1 word or a sentence, however you feel comfortable.
Sure.
And we will just, do that right away.
Sure.
So my first question is, what is that one thing no one knows about you?
What is that one thing no one knows about me? That's a tough one. That is something I'm learning along the way. I tend to be private a lot of times. A lot of times when we read things, when we like something, it's always good to share with people. The moment you share, you will also take it serious and you will do it, right? And if you like something, share it with people around you. I don't do, right? And I will be thinking, hey, what do they think if I say I'm going to Toastmasters and all of that, right? But then lately I started opening up. Yeah, I'm getting there.
To summarize, you were not vulnerable. Now you became vulnerable. Now you're open to.
Yeah, I'm trying to open up and being vulnerable. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
earlier I used to think, Bharat thinks or what sometimes even my wife thinks, what my wife thinks. But yeah, being vulnerable at home and people around me.
I call that as a judgment fairy. Like the fairy would be somewhere here, and then it will always runs the judgments. Oh, what does that guy thinks? What does this guy thinks?
Right.
These are the fairies working on our shoulder. Sometimes. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Now,
Good.
my next question is more on the definition of success. Everyone talks about success. Everyone wanted to be like successful. Everyone shows us the path to be successful. Now, if you have to define success, how do you define your success, and what is the definition of success for you?
Success. If I see from my dad's perspective, dad and mom, their success was like sending me to college, making me the first engineer. From that was their success. If my dad and mom with that village background, if they can do that, at my level, what I have to do? Should I focus only on my family? Absolutely no. Given the realization about my health and all of this, when I went back, even in 2020 to India, even my cousins who are like in their 30s, they are saying, I mean, they are into diabetic and all of that. So I used to think, so what I'm doing, okay, I'm working, these are all good, but then what is something if you have to give back, right? And so given people are getting into diabetic and all of that in their 30s, which is something I don't want. And I want to really help people to run and become healthy and make them realize for anyone, if they really want to think about their family to be good and all of that, they have to focus on the number one priority, which is health. So I want to create awareness around that. So if I can make 100 people in my network to be marathon runners, then that would be my success. That's how I define success.
Awesome. Love it. And I wanted to ask one more question, which is the final one, I promise.
Sure.
And what is your definition of done? When do you think you will be done with what you're doing?
Good definition of done. When I'm in my deathbed.
Wow.
Right. And until then, it's work in progress. And
oh my God, that's powerful, Anand. Absolutely.
Right.
Powerful.
Keep learning, and that's what it is.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Now, before we end this session, if our audience has to, if our audience wants to find out more about you, where can they reach and how can they reach you?
Sure. Absolutely. LinkedIn is a great place where they can reach me. And I started, putting one-liners, motivational content one-liners every Sunday. Looks like I missed yesterday. On weekend, which I will do today anyway. That happens once a while.
Yes.
But yeah, they can definitely reach me in LinkedIn, and through this podcast is some more channel. And yeah, so I'm also spending time on machine learning lately in the last couple of years, a skill which is must, same like communication for any engineer. If they want to have a career in next 5 years, it's a good area to focus on, and going to talk more on that in LinkedIn and through your channels as well, if time permits.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely bringing you more often than you would think. So,
sure.
yeah.
Thank you. With that, thank you so much, Anand, for your time and taking your time off your family on a long weekend. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that's actually really powerful. And thank you so much. We really appreciate you spending time with us when you could have spent this time with anywhere, or family or somewhere else. Thank you so much. We are really grateful for this opportunity as well. And we'll see you soon. Everyone, definitely listen to this podcast. Tune in right away and take care.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Have a good
everyone.
day.